Hello guys, welcome back to the beastie room. That was a bit squeaky, wasn't it? Today we are going to have a rehouse of a really popular spider, and that is in fact the Chromatopelma cyaneopubescens, which is the GBB, or the green bottle blue. Now these are a very popular spider from Venezuela, and you will soon see, if you've not seen one before, which I very much doubt, I'm sure you've seen plenty. They really are a stunning spider. Now we've got our one here in this critter keeper here, and it's about time she went to her permanent home. These are actually, I'm not a lover of these enclosures, but for this particular spider, it's been absolutely perfect. She really likes it in there. So what we're going to do, we are going to move her over into a 30 by 30 by 30 Komodo, which is a top opening, mesh opening one. Now we have kept these in different ways. So we've had them in a semi-arboreal setup, we've had them in a completely terrestrial setup, and the only difference within the two setups is how you use the furniture within your enclosure. Now if you're going to have your enclosure, you fill it with soil or whatever substrate you want to use, and then you put a piece of cork bark flat on the floor with a burrow underneath. This is what I would class as a terrestrial style setup. If you're going to do like we're going to do today, we are going to use this rather fancy piece of timber here. This is really nice piece of timber. We are going to cut it, and we're going to put it so that it fits along the back. And that is going to give our spider climbing space, so it can actually web up. Now that, I would say, is more of a semi-arboreal style enclosure. Don't get overhung up about this. We see a lot of this, you know, you get the purists, don't you? You know, if it's an inch off the floor, it's something else. If it's 2 inches off the floor, it's something else again. Do not get wrapped up in all this rubbish. You know, these guys in the wild state, they live out, and they will live in a terrestrial situation out in the grasslands and stuff like that. But where there's shrubs and things, they will actually move up into the bottoms of the shrubs, which gives them that sort of semi-arboreal style of living, which is what we are going to replicate today. It's not the end of the world whether you do it one way or the other. It really isn't. You know, it's more about what you actually like to see. So what we're going to do here, we're going to have to cut this down a little bit. This is a piece of timber that we've had from other enclosures. So we're going to need to try and make this fit in. So what we're going to have to do, I'm going to take our spider off the desk because this is going to be a little bit vibrating. So we're going to put her down there. She don't need to be up on here, seeing her new home being built. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to need to try and trim some of this stuff off. So we are going to cut that there.
Special meat measure.
Yeah, remember. Now remember guys, I have been cutting my fingers off for many years. Don't always do like I do. You know, you should really have this fixed down somewhere solid to make it a little bit safer. But I know you're not stupid. You can work it out, can't you? Going to cut that one off there. It really is a tough piece of wood. Now this is a piece of wood that we had in an aquarium. So whether that's got anything to do with it being extra hard, I don't know. Right, I'm going to take that piece off there. You can see now, as we work along it, we just need to keep playing, taking little pieces off. Ooh, damaged me wood. Oh, look at that, we're almost there. We are almost there, look at that. Now you see, sometimes when you envisage something, what we need to do now is we need to take that piece off of there. I just want this to actually look like she can climb up here. Take that piece off there. All right. Very difficult cutting like this. And I'll be honest, if I was doing this without filming, I would take it out in the garden and do it where I can actually support the wood. There we go. It is a little bit high, so we need to take, what we need to do, I nicked my finger as well, or my thumb even. So we need to take that. It needs to either come off the top or off the bottom.
Bottom.
It would make sense. Right, okay.
I ain't got a first aid kit up here, you know.
No, this is why I'd normally take it in the garden. Right, let's get this off. I'm going to take that off of there. Right. Oh, look at that.
It was worth it.
That looks amazing. So we're just going to check our roof. This is fastly becoming one of my favourite enclosures already.
Give us a look at the front, Dave.
Look at that. So then, what we're going to do now is fill all our stuff in. Do you remember I said to you, I've been cutting myself for years. You think I'd learn, wouldn't you? Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put some soil in. We've left our bin open, so it's got some quite dry stuff in it. We will get into that in a minute, because that's another subject with this particular spider. So we're going to use the sort of drier stuff for the moment. And we're going to put that down there, like so. I'm going to fill this in.
So you don't bleed everywhere. Take the camera and I'll get you a little plaster quick.
Yeah.
Just so you don't bleed all over the place.
Right, hold on. Well, camera lady goes and gets me a plaster. So what we're looking at now, we are going to get, the idea being that what we want our spider to do is to actually be able to come up into these areas here and web all of this up, and then hopefully she will create areas in which to be able to climb out and do her stuff. That's the plan. We're going to put a plant in there as well, which we're sort of hoping that she won't web up, but we will see. We'll see how we're going. Camera lady's back, first aid lady on the case.
Fill out the book later.
Fill out the accident book.
There we go.
Here we go.
Bleeding everywhere.
Right. There we go. We're all good and done proper.
Look at my handiwork.
Yeah, you've done rather well there. Very good.
I'm used to it.
You're used to it, yeah. Right, so then, that is that. We're going to get a little bit more soil in the front, just to give it a little bit more depth. Don't need a massive amount. So what I'm going to do, literally just want to fill this in a little bit. This is going to be such a simple enclosure. Now then, we've got this rather fancy dry plant here. I call it a dry plant because I don't know what it's called. And I'm thinking, I don't know, do you know what it is? There is actually a thing, isn't there, that science has found out, that we lean towards putting things in certain places, like on lefts or rights. And you'll notice in many of my enclosures, I like my plants on the left. Very strange, it only just occurred to me. But yeah, so I'm going to put this one on the right.
Just to mess with you.
Just to mess with my head. Yeah. Now, we are going to plonk that in there. Now, I don't actually know what this plant is because that, like many of the plants that we sort of get from the garden centre and stuff. Actually, look at that. I want to put it in there, but
because she will basically web it up while you...
Yeah, well, I was hoping, I'm going to go back to the left. I was hoping that it would work. And I'm thinking what my plan is, if she does decide to start webbing it up, then I will probably remove it. And that's not going to do well outside of the pot. So we're going to put it back in its pot. And then we're going to put it in. Yeah, if it looks like she's just going to completely muller it, then we'll remove it. We'll just remove it. Remember, when you're making these enclosures, you know, not everything works out. Sometimes it just doesn't work. And we need to reevaluate, go back to the drawing board, start again. It's no big deal. You know, if you do something and it doesn't work, just change it. You know, it's not going to upset your spider. We often get asked.
Give us a flash.
Pardon?
From the front.
This is a family show. Here we go. Put me water in there. So this is we'll fill our water bar up there. We're going to give our plant a little bit of a water because he was actually quite dry. Now, I know they like it dry, but he was bone dry. So yeah, as we were saying, we often see on the forums and stuff, people are worried that they've made their enclosure, they've put their spider in it, and then it's for whatever reason it's not really working. But what they're worried about is stressing their spider out by having to what they would class as a rehouse again, which means you're going to take it out, you're going to change it all. It's much better to just get on with it and change it than it is to leave your spider in a home that's inadequate, that's not going to really work. You're much better off stressing it out for a little bit of time rather than having it stressing out forevermore in an environment that it doesn't really like. So always, you know, if it's not working, change it. That's the best advice we can give you. Now then, this is it. This is what we're going to do here. And this is going to be the new home for our GBB. Now at the moment, if I flick this round, you'll see that it's quite clear on the back here. We will add a blackout on this just to give it a little bit of security. But it will web up all of this in here, and it'll either have an entrance down here or maybe this side. I'm hoping it's going to have one coming out the top. You know, this piece of wood has given us, or given our spider, lots and lots of options.
Just trying to get the depth behind the tree. There is actually a bit of...
Yeah, there's quite a bit of room behind there. We could have cut it back a little bit more, but I've only got so many fingers. So, you know...
I've run out of plasters.
And we've run out of plasters. So, you know, but yeah, we could have brought that a little bit tighter. It doesn't matter. She will make that her own. She will do exactly what she wants to do with it. And it's in there secure. It's not going anywhere. But the most important thing for us as a keeper, apart from the welfare of our spider, is how does that look from the front? I mean, that is an interesting looking enclosure. And when we get this all webbed up on bits and pieces, it's just going to look even better. It might even be a case of when we take that plant out and it looks perfectly good without the plant, because what we've got here is a heavy webbing spider that really likes to cover everything up and have them intricate tunnels and bits and pieces. And that is what the beauty of this spider is. We will see the beauty of that webbing. So it's going to be really, really awesome. It's going to look so smart. Now, as we said before, these guys come from Venezuela. Now, in terms of humidity, this is a bit of a touchy subject regarding this spider, because many people like to keep them very, very dry. I personally prefer to keep them with a little bit of moisture in the enclosure, so they have a completely dry area in which they reside, in which is where they set up their home. But then, by having this plant in here, this will give us this corner where there will be moisture, because we will be watering our plant, and that will give us that little bit of extra. So I like to keep mine up around about, I don't know, anywhere sort of like in the high 60s is enough in terms of humidity, but it just gives them that little bit extra. I don't like to keep them absolutely bone dry. Even in this enclosure like this, our water dish is providing us with an air humidity. So if we want to come over and have a look at her here, as you can see in this sort of setup, she can't actually do a great deal. This is what I would rather class as more of a maintenance style setup. This is just something to keep her happy, keep her alive.
And definitely terrestrial.
And it's definitely terrestrial, as we see here. But you can see, look at the difference with the webbing. She's also tried to make tunnels in the sides. So she's gone down them and webbed around them, come back out again. She spends all of her time sitting out on the top like this. But then she hasn't really got a lot of choice at the moment. So we now are going to give her that choice. Now then, we are going to have to, I think the easiest way for us to deal with this spider to get her out is to catch cup her rather than walk her in down the side.
Can we not get her on a branch? Just out of curiosity.
Probably not.
A bit of bark or something.
Probably not. These are, we can try, but they are
What's that there? Is that
very skittish. They are very, very skittish. But we can try, just so you can get a better look. Now what we'll do now, we'll try and get her up onto this piece of bark so that you can have a better look. If she's too skittish, then we will go back to the original plan and just catch cup her.
She was very steady whilst feeding.
Yeah, we don't want to stress her out. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this in here like so. And we're just going to gently. There you go, she knows we're here. Well, she's coming round to the brush. These guys can be very, very quick. There we go. There we go.
Gorgeous.
Alright, so we'll just get her on there so she's flat.
Stay still.
Hang on a minute. Let me remove everything. Alright. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to try and keep her fairly level.
She's getting down like that makes it harder for me to get level with her.
What we don't want to do is hold her too high in case she decides to jump. We'll tilt a little bit.
Yeah, perfect.
As you can see there, she has got really, really blue legs and that green carapace. And this is where they get their name from, the green bottle blue.
With a red bum.
With a red bum. She is in absolutely beautiful condition. She's a good sized spider. Now these spiders are flighty. They do tend to move a bit. If you go back a little bit and use your zoom, you won't shadow. There you go. And now these guys are a little on the skittish side, so they're prone to sort of tearing around when they're upset. Apart from that, once they're settled in and they get their home set up, they are quite a showy spider and are often seen sitting outside of their burrows and things like that. So as you can see, once again, if we treat her with some respect, nice and calm, we've not upset her at all yet. Bearing in mind, we've just literally moved her out of her enclosure that she's been living in for the past year, 18 months. And she's on a totally strange piece of bark, in a strange environment. And she is super, super settled.
Can I see her bum?
And what we'll do, as we move her around, we try and keep everything flat. So the last thing we don't want her tearing off. We don't want her running up.
You see the colour of that red now. It's really...
Yeah, we don't want to...
The other angle is looking quite bold.
If you focus in and I'll tilt it, you'll see the difference in the light on her carapace and her abdomen. So you keep still and you can see how the light changes it. We can only turn it so much because we don't want her to feel uncomfortable. You see there?
Gorgeous.
The green in the carapace is just phenomenal. Very, very pretty. Now also as well, while we're handling them like this, we've got her on this piece of bark. We keep the piece of bark just off of the surface of the desk. And this is because if we were to lay it on the desk, should she bolt, she will tear across the desk and disappear. Where she is now, she's got two options. She will either go underneath the bark where it's dark, and that will settle her down straight away, or she will run straight up my arm. So it's still better than having her running around the desk. 9 times out of 10, if they go, I would move my hand away quickly. She would go underneath the bark, and that is more than likely where she would settle. Most spiders, once in the dark, will settle down very, very quickly.
Can I see her face now? We'll get a nice look at her eyes.
We can turn her around again. It's important that we just keep everything very, very gentle.
Okay. I'm going to come down. I'll try not to.
Do you want it there or?
A little bit. That's it.
There we go. As we said, these guys come from Venezuela. They are suffering in the wild with habitat destruction due to grazing, believe it or not. Animals grazing in the grasslands where these guys live. And they're destroying their burrows, taking away their food source, because once the grasses disappear, obviously it ends up like a mowed lawn, and nothing really moves around in it. So they are suffering through grazing, which again is an impact from human. It's a human impact. If they were left totally in the wild without human impact, then these guys would still be doing perfectly fine. So I think we can decide that she has been super, super calm. Very, very well behaved. So then, we've had a good look. Let's see if we can now get her into her enclosure. So we're just going to keep her up, keep the thing pretty much level until we get to where we want to be. Now we're going to come in here. So we're going to have to tilt this now in which to get her off. This might have the effect that she runs back up towards my hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the paintbrush here to do that. You see how, look, the angle's changed. You see how she's changed? She moved her position. Let me just see where that is. Really not the easiest piece of wood to be able to do this. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to keep it like that. Wow, we're almost upright. We don't want you coming off. So now we're going to use the brush to move her gently down. She said, "You asked me so politely to go on that piece of wood and now you want me off of it." There we go. Now this is all difficult purely because it's upright. We haven't got a lot of room in which to manipulate her. So what we're going to do is just very, very slowly find her something else to walk on. There we go. Now she's found it. Get that leg off, move that leg, and we're done. There you go, she's in.
Beautiful.
So we can see now if we can get a nice picture of her. It's funny, isn't it? I should have took a nice picture when I had her on that lovely piece of wood. Never got the right place. Alright, there we go. She is looking absolutely beautiful. There we go. So then, for general care, we're looking at keeping a semi sort of arid environment, which means a little bit on the drier side, but I do think that these guys actually benefit from some humidity, and we're only talking up in the sort of mid to high 60s in humidity. And as we've said before, if you use your plants and your water dish as your guide for humidity, you know, you can overflow that water dish in that corner just a little bit, and that will help raise the humidity in here. We're not talking about a lot, but I do think that they really do benefit from some. Now, in terms of feeding, she will take pretty much anything food-wise. You come in a bit, you'll lose me. In terms of food, we're looking at dubia roaches, large crickets, hoppers, locusts. She'll take anything like that, anything at all. And if you look at the abdomen on her, this is the sort of size abdomen you're wanting. You don't really want it much bigger than this. We don't want to be seeing big bulbous abdomens. Abdomens.
Tummies.
Yeah. We don't want to be seeing big fat bums on them. So yeah. But I think you'll agree, it's absolutely wonderful looking spider. Now what we will do, hopefully you're getting to see all that blue, and I mean these really are phenomenal colouring on these, and in some respects they are one of the better blue spiders. I think they really are a very cool blue spider. Now hopefully what we'll do now is we will come back and we will have a look at this enclosure in a month or two's time, and we'll see what she's done with it. I'm sure it won't look anything like it does now. But at least now, when it goes up on the shelf, it will look an absolute picture. I'm really pleased with how this has come out, and hopefully she will decorate it and make it even better. All right then. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Our Chromatopelma cyaneopubescens, the GBB, the green bottle blue. What a fabulous spider. Good intermediate spider, this as well. So if you've had a little bit of experience with some of the other stuff, this is a good stepping stone up into the more feisty things. More skittish than feisty, these. All right then, don't forget, please hit that like button. Help the channel out as best you can. Doesn't cost anything, but it's a great thing to help us along. All right then, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you all soon, guys.